I was just a child when I first delved into the Metro series. The books were absolutely captivating, unlike anything I had encountered before. Even though the initial game didn't age well, it still managed to provide one of the most unforgettable gaming experiences I've ever had. That is precisely why Exodus has remained at the very top of my must-play list for a very long time. In the realm of gaming, there are those heart-pounding moments where your next decision could mean life or death. These are the moments that truly immerse me in the gaming experience. Metro doesn't achieve this by cranking up the difficulty, instead, it seamlessly integrates it into the game's atmosphere. You will always find yourself making split-second decisions as the game unfolds. You reach into your backpack to craft desperately needed bullets, check your notepad to verify your location on the map, draw power from your hand generator when your flashlight flickers in the darkness while mutants are closing in, and put your mask on the radioactive zones. It's a delicate dance for survival. And most importantly, the game doesn't stop just because you need to craft something. The world still goes on while you are doing all of these. Mutants are still lurking in the shadows and bandits are looking for you. When we talk about these aspects individually, it might give the impression that the game is incredibly challenging and perhaps unplayable. However, when you combine all these elements, it's these very key moments that maintain the game's intense momentum. They immerse us in the post-apocalyptic Russian wastelands, making us feel as though we are genuinely fighting for our survival. In this specific context, the environment and every choice you make greatly influence your survival in the game. This realism is even more evident if you are like me, enjoy playing games on the most challenging difficulty settings. For instance, in the game's Ranger mode, you can be taken down by just 1 or 2 bullets, and if you dare to step into Ranger Hardcore, the next level of difficulty, a single shot can mean game over. To add to the intensity, you only have one save point, and if you die, the game teleports you back to the beginning. As you progress in the game, you'll find yourself exploring the semi-open world areas. There are also linear sections where you navigate from point A to point B. The introduction of these semi-open world mechanics in Metro fits seamlessly into the experience. In these sections, sporting characters can assign different missions, and as you explore the map with your binoculars, you'll stumble upon various buildings and locations worth discovering and visiting. During these visits, we sometimes come across the locals of these regions and get a glimpse into their way of life in this post-apocalyptic world. The dialogues we engage in with these individuals can vary greatly, depending on our actions during missions and our approach towards them. These encounters showcase the intricacies of the world and the diverse perspectives of its inhabitants. What captivated me from the very start and pulled me into the series was the Metro's distinctive take on the post-apocalyptic genre. The notion that the final vestiges of humanity found their refuge in the Moscow Metro, where they traded bullets among themselves, was a concept that immediately piqued my interest. When you consider the immersed gameplay mechanics, it genuinely makes us feel like a part of this strange and harrowing world. Even though the game might not have the most amazing graphics, it undeniably excels in crafting a compelling post-apocalyptic universe. As we journey through the game, each area we explore carries its own distinct atmosphere and narrative. These stories are conveyed not only through gameplay, but also simply observing our surroundings. Unfortunately, the game's realism can sometimes be disrupted. This can happen during cutscenes when animations or dialogues don't quite match up, or when character interactions fell out of sync. There are also areas that rely heavily on exploration and chance. Additionally, some unique decisions, like a boss fight toward the end of the game that depends on triggering a specific cutscene, have raised some questions for me. While I wasn't particularly bothered by the game's somewhat black and white ending, I noticed it has been the reason for some negative reviews of the game. Don't get me wrong, these are not the issues that would compel me to quit the game. The main potential downside is that Metro Exodus might feel a bit closed off to players who are accustomed to the structures commonly found in modern games. What I mean is that many games provide extensive tutorials and constant guidance, instructing players on how to combine items, where to place objects, and so on. In contrast, Metro immerses you in its post-apocalyptic world and lets you navigate it on your own, like a sink or swim experience. My final verdict for this game is 8.5 out of 10. I've been closely following the updates on their upcoming game with great interest. I hope they continue to stay true to what makes this series work.